All right, welcome back, everybody. Yeah, we got like 2 inches of snow last night, and so today it's all sunny. So it's like you open up the curtains, and it's just like, blindness. It's crazy. All right, let me scroll back in my chat here real quick. Let me see if I can do this. And here we go. I really like this little tool that I have that I can make this stuff pop up on the screen. How do I feel about the split perspectives for the expansion? Seems like being separate timelines limits their ability to eventually develop Malgus. I think it's something that they needed to do. A lot of people were really frustrated by the whole one storyline thing. And now that they've split it out again, it's definitely going to be more difficult on them to do this, but at this point, they're kind of set in their ways, and hopefully they'll be able to do it. And it's not just, expanding on, Malgus and... But it's all about all the new characters as well. They introduced a bunch of new ones, and... But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what they're actually able to do with it. I think they're going to do it in little spurts, though. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier, where I don't think they're going to say, all right, 2020 is 7.0, here's another, like, big expansion. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to do, here's another hour, and then here's another hour, and then here's another hour. Kind of like that. That's going to be my guess. So I guess we'll see. Who's my favorite companion? Mako. She's my wife. Would love to see raid updates. So many bugs with 6.0 dropping. Yeah, 6.0 was a pretty buggy expansion. And it's always cool if they were able to, go back and sort of refresh some of the old raids too. Absolutely. Let's see here. What happened to Dolphy? We don't really know. All we know is that she got busy with personal stuff, and that's about it. Let's see. Am I going to work on my Jedi playthrough today? No. I was going to do that for a couple hours this morning, but then we got into that raid, so... I've previously mentioned doing a spoiler stream for Rise of Skywalker. Did that happen already? No. But you know what? Let me ask Swtorista if she wants to do that. And maybe we do that, like, I don't know, next weekend or something. That'd be fun. And JT, you've seen it too. I don't know if JT's still here or not. Maybe we grab JT. Let's see. What will help the game to continue to regain its player base, in my opinion? That's a tough question. That... I can tell you right now, though, that question right there, that is the question that BioWare They ask themselves that question every single week. And the sad part about the issues with this game is there are so many people who feel like they got burned on the launch of this game and they'll just never come back. And it's not just the player base, but it's the media as well. It's like when the expansion for this game dropped, when 6.0 dropped, out of all the big media groups, you know, it's like your IGNs and your GameSpots and all that, to my knowledge, there was only one that even mentioned that this game got an expansion this year or last year. So that is a problem. That is a major, major problem. And in 8 years, they've never been able to recover from that. And I don't know if it's possible. They would have to do something so drastic to this game to get back on everybody's radar, and I don't know what that would be. The only thing I can think of would be they would almost have to pull a Final Fantasy XIV where they shut the game down and relaunch it. That's the only thing I can think of. Beyond that, I don't know. I don't know. But it's a rough spot. Yeah, here's another kind of good one, and that is this has been talked about a bunch. From my understanding, they can't put SWTOR on Origin Access because of the original deal that was made for the game. You know, the deal between, I think at the time, Lucasfilm and BioWare/EA. The deal for Fallen Order is a different deal, and that's why it was able to put on Origin Access. But if they could put it on Origin Access, that would bring in a lot of players. Definitely. This is a pretty good one. 2 cents. WoW still owns the MMO market, obviously. Actually, WoW does not own the MMO market. There are Final Fantasy XIV is beating them in numbers, and ESO is up there. So yeah, WoW has. I mean, they got a huge spike with Classic WoW, obviously, but Final Fantasy and ESO, man, them games are doing incredible right now. Absolutely incredible. FF14 in particular. SWTOR 2 or relaunch on a new engine. They would never. I don't think they'd ever do a relaunch. If they were gonna do a relaunch, they would just start from scratch. Because they have talked about the mistakes that BioWare have made with this game. I honestly think that they would just do something new. Do like a SWTOR 2. I would see that over a new engine. But who knows? You never know. Similar question, do I see a restart happening? No. Here's another one from JT. That's been a very hot topic, and they have talked about this many times. Will they ever bring back weekly passes? For those who don't know, the official BioWare response on this is that they are working on it, and the reason why they're just not instantly bringing back the passes is because they want to do it in a more meaningful way, and they want people to be able to actually earn them in-game, which is really interesting. But that's also something similar that World of Warcraft has done when WildStar was still around. WildStar did it to where you can actually like earn your sub in-game kind of thing. But I feel like they just haven't been able to figure out what the formula for that is, and that's why we haven't heard nothing recent about it. But I think they want to bring it back. They just don't know how yet. This goes back to an earlier thing about the PvP cheating. So actually, your last line pretty much says it all. It's a combination of hacks and win trading. There's some teleporting that's happening and stuff like that. So that's about it, yeah. And I think it's something that's gotten worse, but then they have started to crack down on it, and they know that it's an issue, and so that's why they've started to come down on it more. Absolutely. Where are you getting the numbers that FF14 overlooked WoW? Well, let me research it. It's one of those things where I'm the kind of person, I'm researching gaming industry stuff like all day long. So I've seen several articles, but I can't remember which site it was on. If you really want me to sit in here and figure it out, I mean, you could probably just look it up yourself. Let's see. Yeah, so here's the thing about this, right? Gaming genres are like a river, right? They go up and down, they flow. And for anybody who pays attention to gaming at all, you'll know that is the case. It's like in the late 90s to early 2000s, you know, the RTSs were really strong, and then the RTSs fell, and then we have these new genres that come up out of nowhere. You know, the MOBAs exploded, and then they kind of dipped down, and then they're back up and back down again. You have the battle royales that popped up out of nowhere and have been massive, and then now they're kind of taking a little dip. So MMOs, again, in the early to mid 2000s, the MMOs were the hot thing to do. You had Star Wars Galaxies in 2003, World of Warcraft 2004, EverQuest, and some others before that. And then since then, in recent years, MMOs have come down. We are currently in an upswing for MMOs, and there's a bunch of new ones that are in the works, such as Ashes of Creation, which is trying to promote itself as the next really, really big MMO. So, for those who don't know, there was actually another Star Wars open world multiplayer game that was in the works, and it got canceled. So you had Star Wars 1313 that got canceled. You then had the Amy Hennig Star Wars game that got canceled. The assets of that game went into this new multiplayer open world Star Wars thing. That got canceled. And then eventually we got Fallen Order. So I personally don't see them ever doing another Star Wars multiplayer MMO style game. If they do, it'll be years out. Because the market is just not there yet, and I think EA sees that. Some people might say, oh, maybe they'll do like an Anthem-like Star Wars game. I feel like that is what they were trying to do, and Anthem's a mess, and so now they're like, no, we're not going to do that. So, yeah. So I don't think that's ever going to happen. Line Walker, do you think Old Republic becoming canon to the Star Wars universe turns things around? Yeah, funny enough, Swtorista talked about it earlier, and I did some tweets on it a couple days ago, where I said, right now, SWTOR is actually seeing a player-based spike, and we're also seeing a player-based spike on Twitch. And I think that's because of the trifecta of The Mandalorian, Fallen Order, and the new movie. Because what's weird is in previous years, when we had the new movies, that didn't really do a spike to SWTOR that I could tell anyway. Now, we know that Disney is going to take a break on the movies. They've already confirmed this. But they're going to be doubling down on the Disney Plus stuff. So we have the new season of Clone Wars coming out in February. We have the Obi-Wan series, which is being directed by Deborah Chow. And we also have the Cassian Andor series, which is a series that nobody's really talking about. So that's 3 Star Wars series that they're currently working on. I have a very strong feeling, because this has been talked about, that the next movie they do is going to be the Revan movie. Now, what form does that take? Who knows? And as of Rise of Skywalker, Revan is now canon. And I think that was maybe a telltale sign of what is to come. But yeah, I think they're going to do like the Revan and the Old Republic stuff for their next set of movies. And that's why they're taking their break as well. So how much of it becomes canon, it's really hard to say, but I think that's going to be the direction they're moving in. Absolutely. Would SWTOR be better off with BioWare under the EA umbrella or as an independent studio? The thing is, SWTOR is one of the most expensive games ever made. And it's a game that requires a ton of money and resources. As an independent studio, they couldn't do that. They couldn't do it. We'd have even less content than what we have now. So... and that opens up a whole nother discussion about, oh, I'd love to see a new 1 to 50 class in this game and all this and that. Problem is they can't do it. They don't have the time, money, and resources to do something like that. So yeah, independent, not an option for this game because this game is too complex. Having all that voice acting is both the greatest thing in the world for this game and the worst thing in the world for this game. Because, yeah, whenever they try and do something like that, all the dialogue they have to record is insane. And they got to do it twice. Male, female. Not to mention just, you know, the generic stuff. Both FF14 and ESO have outstripped WoW. That's what I've been seeing. Yeah. Ooh, is that? I was like, that's a lot of text. Is that all gonna fit on my pop-up thing? Would you rather see a single galactic timeline that we get 2 perspectives on rather than the current style of 1 variable timeline that has a bunch of outcomes? Well, you know what? That opens up like a whole nother can of worms of people want choices in this game. So Onslaught has got technically 4 endings. And so I think people always want more options. They want more ways to do things. And that's always complicated in an MMO like this. which kind of goes back to my earlier statement of the whole time, money, resources thing. But no, I would say that I always want, you know, more stories, more options, rather than just a single galactic timeline. I would love a Star Wars RTS. Me too. Give me Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds 2. Make it happen. JT says RPGs are starting to make a comeback. Do many people really play ESO and FF? Yes. Yes, that game, like we were saying, that both those games, as far as I know, are beating WoW right now. I know for sure FF14 is. I would have to double check the data on ESO, but I know I've seen the data that FF14 is beating WoW. Oh yeah, interested in the Amazon Lord of the Rings MMO too. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah. You thought Anthem kind of recovered? Not really. But no, they're redoing Anthem. We don't have any details on it. Question, what is ESO? Yeah, Elder Scrolls Online. Yep. I'm still just slowly scrolling through chat here. How is Revan canon from the new movie? That'd be a spoiler. I don't know if I can say that. It was all over the news that it was canon, though. So just go to Google and type in, "Is Revan canon?" Yeah, SWTOR is stuck with poor choices from development. However, the team has done a good job with what they were given. I mean, there's been some very interesting articles that have been released over the years from, like, the former head SWTOR developers. So if you ever want to check out those articles, you can seek them out. But they straight up said the biggest mistake they made with SWTOR was the fact they tried to copy World of Warcraft. Yep. But yeah, back to the SWTOR classes thing. I can see them doing a hero class. You know, them starting at 60, 65 or whatever, having like a 2 to 4 hour experience, and then say, oh, pick a side. You know, they could totally do that. And they could do that as like an expansion, a mini expansion. Call it Rise of the Droid Engineer. SWTOR, are you trying to get me to? Is that a trigger? Is that a trigger word? It would be one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. It'll never happen. So, moving on. Because Star Wars Galaxies had the best crafting system we've ever seen in a video game. Yeah, Empire at War, yeah. WoW was still popular, just not popular to like. Oh no, yeah, I mean WoW still has millions of players. But, you know, back in the day, I mean, WoW's high point was what, something like 12 million or something like that. They're under 5 right now. I think even if you combine retail WoW and classic WoW, they're probably under 5 mil. You don't think it's a spoiler to say it's from the visual... Oh, the visual thing, not the movie. I thought there was a thing in the movie... voice. That's all I'm saying. Where's Swtorista? Swtorista has left. She is gonna go see the new movie. You're not familiar with SWG crafting. Alright, here we go. You guys gonna get me talking about Star Wars Galaxies for the next 2 hours. Alright, let's do this. Yes, most people in my chat are like, no, please, no, stop. No. If I had to guess, what would I say the current overall population of SWTOR is? It's under 1 mil. I can tell you that. I would say somewhere between the 200,000 and 600,000 range. That's a pretty big gap, but that would be my guess. 200,000 to 600,000. Gotta make sure I'm not gonna go AFK in the game. We need to change the scenery a little bit. It's all so gray and gloomy here on the fleet. Here we go. This is where the people are at. Oh, hello, Ranker. All right, back to the questions. Still a crazy number of people playing the game. Oh, yeah, absolutely. And WoW is still one of the biggest games in history. Absolutely. Hey, wait a minute. My thing reset. Dang it. Why did it do that? That's why this thing is still in beta. That's the comment that made me laugh. Okay, cool. Wanted to make sure I didn't lose my spot. Greetings from Sweden. You're new here? You're new to SWTOR? Well, hello. Oh, also, I should mention here real quick to all the new viewers in chat. Normally, I have an alert thing that pops up whenever anybody, like, follows or anything. Whenever I do a stream with somebody else, I turn that off because of, you know, courtesy reasons. So, I really do appreciate all the new followers today. There was also some subs that I missed. Let me go back. There were some gifted subs that went out. Hold on, let's see if I can find those. SWTOR with a couple gifted subs. I do appreciate that. Also, Green Monster with a couple of gifted subs. Thank you very, very much. But no, yes. Yeah, thanks for all of the support today. I do appreciate it. Let's see here. Mikey wants to talk about dentistry. I mean, if you want to. Can't you still play SWG on a private server? The problem with that is the best version of SWG, for whatever reason, is versions that are not being done on the private servers, and I have no idea why. Basically, the best version of SWG was the pre-CU, pre-NGE version, and I don't think anybody's doing that, and like I said, I don't know why. But and it's another thing where it's like, you'll never be able to recreate that experience. It's like, I don't care how good your private server is, you can't recreate what we had back in 2003. WoW and SWTOR have an odd relationship. They do. They do. Here's a new player question. Returning player, would you play a mercenary or power tech in 6.0? Can't decide between the two. They're both really fun to play. I would say a power tech might be a little bit more fun to play, but a mercenary, like an arsenal merc, is easier to play. Power tech you can actually play as a melee, where a merc you can do more as a range. So hopefully that helps. Whoops. What new abilities associated with classes would you like to see introduced in the future? Honestly, I feel like ability-wise, they've done a pretty good job. But what I think they should do, and I've discussed this before, is I feel like there are some abilities that should be just native. And so, as an example, if you're a bounty hunter, you should be able to fire a missile, and you should have a flamethrower at level 1. It's mandatory. If you're a force user, saber throw, pull, push, if you're dark side, choke. All that at level 1. That's like baseline stuff. Right? Yeah, and force leap for force users. Yes. Baseline stuff. In 6.0, power techs are crazy powerful. Wow, there you go. Is a power tech similar to... Actually, you know what? Let me switch characters to answer that question. Hold on. I will show you a power tech. Actually, let me go to my pyro. So right there, that's one power tech, but that's not the one I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you a different one. I think it's on SWTOR, maybe? Or Starforge, I forget. I think it's on SWTOR. But yeah, if you want to play like a classic Mandalorian... what character is that? this one. I think this is my pyro. This is what I would call a gadget. A gadget-based bounty hunter. So if I go under here real quick, yeah, this is my pyro. So it's bounty hunter, bounty hunter, power tech, pyrotech. That's the combination, okay? So this is like all about like fire and flames. So there's like a flame sweep, flame burst. Some of this stuff I can't do because I'm not targeting somebody right now. But I've got a shoulder cannon, so it's like there's your missiles going, blaster, you know, you've got the whole deal. Also have the leap ability, so you can just jetpack right to somebody. But yeah, Scorch, you've got some really nice AoEs that you can do. But yeah. The other one would be Advanced Prototype. This one is more about what I would call technical abilities. And so it's like you're throwing grenades, magnetic blasts, you're stabbing dudes with your retractable blade. So these are like frontline, in-your-face type classes. What's the most populated NA server? That would be Starforge. But not by much. They're real close. Let me go back and chat here for a second. Yeah, you'd love to be able to force sleep your consular. Yeah. You know what? I'm actually going to have chat answer that question because that's one of the variations that I don't deal with very much. So hopefully somebody in chat can answer that for you. I'm currently on SWTOR, but I server jump quite a bit. Actually, here's another similar question. The question that I would ask to you would be, do you want to go DPS or tank? They're spiffing. Actually, funny enough, we were just talking about this. WAHH5. Population of the game is fine, and yes, it did get a boost. Yep. New to the game, loving a SWTOR. Just wanted to ask if they're any good. If they're any good as healers. Yes, absolutely. Yep, SWTOR healers are good. I have a SWTOR healer. I did SWTOR heal raiding for a long time. Is this like WoW for Star Wars? It is very similar, yes. But over the years, this game has tried to get away from World of Warcraft rather than trying to get closer to it. But there's many things in this game that SWTOR does better than World of Warcraft. Many things, including the storytelling. And that's really one of the big differences between this game and all the other MMOs out there. SWTOR does storytelling better than any other MMO out there. So if you're looking to get into some like good Star Wars stories, this is the game for you. Absolutely. But at its core, it is a hotkey MMO, just like World of Warcraft. Yep. So this is a pretty good question. So how many keys do you use for your combat? Every class and every rotation is different. So if you're somebody who's new to this game and you're looking to jump in for the first time, playing one of the easier classes is probably going to help you out. Something like an Arsenal Merc. Let me actually jump back to my main here real quick and let me show you something. Or I can actually show you an Arsenal Merc versus something more complicated. Let's see here. Where is... here we go. Arsenal Merc. So I'll show you how easy this rotation is compared to something like a virulent sniper. And also, sorry if I'm missing any questions. I'm trying to get to all of them. Okay, so literally Arsenal Merc right here. The like baseline rotation for this is Electronet, or actually, okay, here's how I'm going to do it. So, Electronet, Blazing Bolts, Priming Shot, Tracer Missile, Heat Seeker, Blazing Bolt, and then whenever Rail Shot procs, you Rail Shot. But your core is just Tracer, Tracer, and then you wait for Blazing Bolts to pop, and then you hit it. And then everything else is fill-in. So it kind of depends. So sometimes I'll actually start with Priming Shot, and then I'll go Electro, Tracer. But baseline is, once you really get it going, it's Tracer, Tracer, Blazing Bolts, Tracer, then maybe something else depending on whether or not it's up. Like Heat Seeker, or, oh, Rail Shot popped. But it's just like these couple buttons right here. That's all it is. So that's like the easiest you can get. Compared to something like Virulent Sniper, which is what I main. And it's basically just more buttons. So for Virulent Sniper, it's basically this bottom line. So I have it set up as Corrosive Dart, Corrosive Grenade, Weakening Blast, Cull, 3 Lethal Shot, which you can enhance by doing that. That gives you an instant shot. Then you do a takedown and a series of shots. You just repeat that over and over again. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 buttons. Then, when you have target acquired and lays up, you do those. So that kind of shows you of this is just a straight rotation. You do it in that order every single time. Where compared to Arsenal Merc, where it's basically just 2 main buttons with fillers. And then there's other ones like Lightning Zork, which is like way more complicated. But hopefully that kind of answers that question. If I were to retool the way that SWTOR handles the tutorials for new players, what would be your biggest priorities? I would basically just go through all of the basic fundamentals of the game, right? You start with the easy stuff and then you work your way into the hard stuff. One of my favorite things that other games do when it comes to their tutorials are in-game videos or visuals. And right now, SWTOR has nothing like that. And so that's what I would do. Yeah, it's cool where, especially like when you're selecting abilities in other games, it'll be like, what does this ability do? And then it actually pops up with a video of what that ability does. You know, stuff like that. And you know what? The other thing I'll say about the whole rotation thing, if you're not... All right, let me back up and say this. Play the game how you want to play the game, right? If you don't want to do a rotation, don't do a rotation. You know, you're out there questing, leveling by yourself or whatever. Maybe you're running with a group. Just do whatever you want. I've always been a big advocate of, you know, you're playing this game, you're paying for this game, you play it the way you want. Don't let anybody tell you different. If I want to do nothing but throw darts at people for 4 hours, that's what I'm going to do. Thinking to try it, but it looks too scary. No, it's really not. And you know, the other thing is when you jump into this game for the first time and you're leveling a character, you start out with nothing. It's like you don't have any of these buttons. So it gives you like 1 or 2 at a time, and you just slowly work your way into it. So it's like, oh, what is this new ability that I just got? And you click on it and it's like, oh, it does that. You know, it's like, oh, what does this do? Oh, that's an AoE rapid fire ability, you know? No, if I had the option to change the combat in this game, oh, I totally would. I think an action combat system would be so much more fun. Where am I even at right now? Okay. Wanted to go back over to where the GTNs were. That's one way MMOs have changed. They're more action-oriented now. Oh, yeah, totally. You know, even though WildStar failed, I actually really enjoyed the WildStar action combat system. I still think the best combat system I've ever seen in an MMO was actually Terra Online. Don't know how many of you actually have played that game. Can you give us a tour of the in-game world for new players? Funny enough, there's actually more than one. It depends which class you pick. In total, there are 4 starting worlds. But yeah, I'll just I can fly myself to one of them here real quick. I'll go to we'll go to Hutta. So this is the starting planet for the Imperial Agent and the Bounty Hunter. K1 Jacko 23, thank you very, very much for the biddies. I do appreciate it. I should actually get my alert thing turned back on if we're gonna keep doing Q&A for a while. So right now there's 2 shards. There was actually 3 shards earlier. But 2 shards of over 100 people. So yeah, this is the starting planet for, like I said, the agent and the bounty hunters. See all the new people running around? But if there's anything in particular you want to see, let me know. I'm also still a little bit behind on the questions, so let me try and get through these. Wait, what is happening? People are shooting people. Yeah, All Access just said most DPS are priority rotations, none are terribly hard. Just spam abilities. Like I said, you can do that, that's fine. The way you're telling it, actually, let me just post this one here real quick. Never played the game. The combat seems very in-depth. You like that? I mean, what I can do here real quick, just for kicks, let me just start a new character. So I can show you, like, how basic it starts you compared to having 1,000 buttons on the screen. So let me do, we'll actually go right back to that planet. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do a power tech, since we were talking about power techs. Hold on, let me remove that quick. Let me do a Zabrak. Oh, I have VO turned off right now. That's why you can't hear him. Hold on. Not like I'm gonna keep this character. It's like, let's spend half hour customizing. That's not bad. Dude, you are way too pale. You haven't been out in the sun in like weeks. Let's go with that. I don't like your eye color. Let's go green. $11's not bad. Actually, I like 12. I feel like a samurai ponytail thing going on. You know what? You're a red-headed person. Somebody has that name? What the hell? That was a pure guess. Oh my god, you're killing me. Okay. I'm actually going to skip all this intro stuff. It's so loud. But one of the greatest things about this game are all the cutscenes and all the dialogue options. Again, I'm going to just kind of skip through this. You can't hear it anyway because I had that turned off. Sorry, I'm cracking jokes and you can't hear it. All right, there we go. So you can see you literally just start with 2 abilities, and then these are other ones. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change over to my interface. Also, if you haven't seen it, this game has an amazing interface editor. You can literally change anything. It's awesome. So I've got my default set up, so I'm literally just coming in here and automatically setting it to my default interface that I created. So this is my buff, so I'm applying a buff. I'm actually going to move that over there. This is my heal. I'm going to put my heal over in this corner. That's going to go there, and that's going to go over there. So I literally only have 2 abilities. Again, you have a heal, you have a buff. Let me make my mini-map a little bit bigger. But yeah, for the combat, and you can see there's some quests here. I'm just going to skip all this. Whoop. And I'm pretty sure that I have all the tooltips disabled. So it's like, all right, first time combat. I'm literally just hitting 1 and 2. Just killing those dudes over there. So it starts you out very slow. So you can like learn the game, learn the abilities. Setting those dudes on fire. And it, you know, it works you into the gearing very slowly and all that fun stuff too. Boom, level 2. So now here on Hutta, you come over here and you talk to the trainer. And he gives you your new abilities. Hey, why are you shooting at me? Oh, the other thing I failed to do, and maybe you don't do it yet, yeah. So I come up under here, that's when you select your discipline. So I'm gonna go advanced prototype. I'll commit to it. Okay. So, oh, it's actually a green drop here. So I looted a gun that I cannot use. So I'll sell it for money. So I'm looking on the mini map. There is, might be kind of hard for you guys to see, but there is a triangle with a a green cross. That's my trainer. So it's actually this guy over here, or girl. Rocket Punch. So, there we go. I got Rocket Punch now. I want to find somebody to Rocket Punch. Boom. But no, all the class stories in this game are great. That's one of the best things, the 1 to 50 class stories. Let me go back to questions here super quick. How are gunslingers nowadays? They are good. You do like to look up guides in advance for classes. Yeah, if you're looking for guides or class guides, definitely check out Volk's website. Is there a Mandalorian in this game? Oh, I slightly misread that. But to answer the question, yes. If you want to do a Mandalorian storyline, do the Bounty Hunter storyline. Can you make yourself look like a Mandalorian? Yes. Yes, so there are 8 separate storylines in the game, and there are variations as well, because obviously this is Star Wars, so you have the light side and the dark side. As you're going through the game, you actually have dialogue things that'll pop up and say, do you want to take a light side path here or a dark side path? And there are some changes within the stories based on what you choose. So yeah, if I click on the character sheet here, you'll notice there's actually a light side, dark side. Oh, hold on, I'm covering up. There's actually a light side, dark side meter right here. So depending on how you roll, and it does the things where it's like if you go super dark side, your eyes start to go yellow, and you'll start to see actually a visual change in your character. If you go dark side, you can turn it off too if you don't want that to happen, but it's pretty cool. But no, I mean, if you're familiar with other BioWare games, you know, your Mass Effects, your Dragon Age, this game uses that same dialogue system. You know, in Mass Effect, it's called, you know, Paragon and Renegade. You know, it's the same basic idea.